Hi there, my name is Solomon David and welcome back to another episode on how to play the violin in 15 easy lessons. If you've not checked out my book, The Comprehensive Violin Method, which I have written to coincide with this free violin course. In this book, you can expect many free quizzes, tests, and pieces that you'll be able to play by the end of this course. Do like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope you enjoy. Hi there, and welcome back to another lesson on how to play the violin in 15 easy lessons. For today's lesson, chapter 7, we're going to learn the violin's first position. So if you have not taken out your violin, please do so now. So if your violin's out right now, you might have noticed that on the violin I have some markings. So this is actually what we call a fingerboard sticker. Unlike the guitar, the violin does not have any tabs, so you're not going to know where to put your fingers. Especially for a beginner, it's going to be really tough. So I recommend getting one of these fingerboard stickers. I'll leave some links below so you can purchase the fingerboard stickers to place on your violin's fingerboard. How you're going to put the fingerboard stickers on is very simple. You just have to loosen your strings and put the strings aside and just lay it back on before retuning your violin again. Yeah? So after you've done so, it will look something like that. Okay, I'm going to put the fingerboard stickers clear right here. And I want you to look with me. Yeah? So in the violin, we have what we call the first position of the violin. So in violin, what we describe as positions is basically how we move from different positions to achieve different notes in the violin. So first position being the lowest is going to be right here. So you're only going to be playing notes right at the bottom of the fingerboard. As you move upwards on the fingerboard, you move positions. So let's give you an example. This will be the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and etc. Yeah, so you'll move up gradually as you progress through your violin levels. Yeah, so for beginners now, today we're just going to look at the first position. And looking at the first position right here, again, you can see that we have different alphabets on the fingerboard stickers. So how do you identify the notes on the violin? Simple. So if you've covered one of our lessons in the past, you would know that the music notes always go in a sequence from A all the way to G and then back to A again. So I want you to look at the first column of the fingerboard stickers. So the first column would be for the G string on the left. The G string, being the lowest sounding string, would be on the left. So in violin playing, when we look at the first column, those alphabets are meant to be played for the G string. And your fingers work hand in hand to actually help you execute these notes. So it's very important to identify what fingers you're going to use. So if you played the piano before, you might have noticed that this is the first, this is the second finger, third, fourth, and then fifth. But for the violin, it's a little bit different. Why? Because we don't use our thumb to actually finger the notes. As you can see, when you play in, when you put yourself in a playing position, your thumb's going to be parked right at the side. So you're not going to do any of these movements, yeah? None of that. So you're only going to use these four fingers to make different notes on the violin. So with that being said, the first finger on the violin is your index finger. So that's what we call the first finger, followed by the second finger, which is the middle finger, and the third finger, which is this finger just right before the pinky. And you finally have the pinky, which we refer to as the fourth finger. Yeah? So let's take a look back at the fingerboard sticker again. And you might notice that on the G column, the first column on the left, the first alphabet is an A. So, like I said again, in music we do go in sequences from A to G and then always go back to A again. So it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, F, G. So we just move from lower ranges to higher ranges. Yeah. So the first finger, with that being said, if you were to put your first finger on the G string, it would give you an A. Moving down to the next note, if you put your second finger, it would be a B. And then followed by a C. And finally, if you put your pinky, which is the fourth finger, it would be a D. I want to highlight something really important so you can understand how it works. So again, if I were to put my first finger on the G string, this is A, B, and C. First, second, and third. If I were to put this pinky on this D, it would actually be the same sounding D as the D open string. Okay, sorry, my violin's not in tune, but they would actually sound exactly the same. Yeah? So that would work also on the D string, A string, and it will not work for the E string because we do not have a fifth string on the violin. So the fourth finger on the D string, which would be A, would be also the same sounding A as the open A. There you go, yeah? So again, for the A string, the fourth finger would be E, and it would sound exactly the same as the open E. Great. So once that's cleared, sometimes violinists in more advanced levels, you will have to use the fourth finger instead of the open strings, yeah? But if you use the open strings for now, that's totally fine. Okay, so if let's just move through all the notes in the first position. So again, A, B, C, D, and then if you go to open D, first finger would be E, and then F sharp. So F sharp is how we would say an F that has been raised. So a sharp actually raises a note by a semitone. A semitone is what we refer to as a half step. So you just move it to F, from F to F sharp, not F to G, but F to F sharp. So it's in the middle of F and G, F sharp. Yeah. And how the violin works is just, it's made that way, differently from the piano, where you can move from E to F and then F to G with the white keys. But in the violin, we don't have those keys. So you would only be able to move from E to F sharp if you were to place your fingers exactly on the second and third white dot on the fingerboard stickers. Yeah. So these sharps, they occur quite frequently. If you look at the A string, we have C sharp. And if you look at the E string, we have F sharp and G sharp. Yeah. So the first finger on E string would be F sharp and the second finger would be G sharp. There you go. Okay, so it might be quite tricky right now for you to understand. And then you might say, so how am I going to play regular F? How am I going to play regular C or G? So how we do actually regular Fs and Cs and Gs is that we might have to move our fingers. Meaning that if you look at the D second finger again on the D string, in order to play a regular F, you're going to have to place your finger on the blue line instead of the white dot. So that's how you achieve a regular F instead of an F sharp. Yeah. And then likewise on the E string, if you want to play a regular F, instead of the first finger being on the white dot, you're going to have to flush it backwards all the way to this white line right here. So that's how you play just a regular F. Okay, so I do have a table in my book, The Comprehensive Violin Method, where I have the full list of notes in order and following the various columns that I just mentioned according to the strings. So I do have some exercises for you to actually memorize and learn how to identify the different notes on the different strings. and also include the different sharps on each string. This is very important as we go on to our next lessons, because when I refer to the first or second finger, you have to be able to automatically play those notes, be it F sharp, C sharp, or G sharp. Yeah, so do try to get yourself familiar with these notes on the first position. Great. So with that, we've covered the first position and the first position notes. We will be covering how to finger and play these notes in our next lesson. So do try to, again, remember, and you can even try placing your fingers just to get a feel without bowing the violin yet. Just try to put your fingers on so you know how it feels in the first position if you were to place your left hand and your fingers on the fingerboard. Yeah? Great. And with that, we have come to the end of our 7th lesson. So a very theoretical and a slightly practical lesson today, covering just the first position. Do try to get the fingerboard stickers on, because these stickers are going to be very, very essential for you to learn how to play the various exercises, scales, and pieces in our upcoming lessons. Again, if you do not have any fingerboard stickers, look at the link in my description and you can purchase some of those fingerboard stickers to be placed on your violin. I hope you enjoyed our 7th lesson, and I hope to see you in the next one.